The video that I wanted to talk about today is about positivity, putting yourself in a positive mindset. Now, like I say, this is a little corny, and I know that there's going to be some people out there that are going to be watching this, and they're going to be like, this is some corny bullshit. Yeah, just stay positive. That's real helpful. The world is doomed. And I get that. But at the same time, I think that when I conduct my own life, when I live my life, I might as well try to just be positive. I think it's contagious. A book I recently read about the subject was called The Optimism Bias by Tali, Sharot. And I would highly recommend that book. She is a neuroscientist who has studied something called the optimism bias, which is basically when a person has the propensity to believe that good things are going to happen in his or her future. She says that in no uncertain terms that believing that good things will happen in one's future not only changes subjective reality, but it also changes objective reality.
It acts as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Controlled experiments have shown that optimism is not only related to success, it leads to success.
And an example of this is if you go to a party and you have the optimistic belief that you will run into your friend at the party, your behavior will be such that it will align more closely with that experience taking place. You'll be searching across the heads of the crowd, you'll be actively looking for your friend, and thus it will be more likely that you will encounter your friend. Excuse me, I just gotta turn off my TV. You believe good things are gonna happen, and it changes objective reality. Your behavior modifies itself to where the good thing that you believe to happen to you will actually occur. It'll be more likely to occur when you do that. She references another person who is called Martin Seligman, and he has this theory called learned helplessness, and he developed a form of applied psychology, I think is the term that you would call it, called positive psychology. And basically it kind of like regular psychology, you're always like looking for what's wrong and how do I fix it, and then positive psychology is strengths based. What are my strengths and how can I use those strengths to enhance the lesser strengths? You can take a strengths test on Seligman's website, but Seligman, this learned helplessness thing, it has to do with, he did some experiment with a dog, and I can't quite remember all the details of it. But actually, I have a Seligman book right here. Maybe it'll tell me. Oh, here we go. Learn Optimism. Okay, he's talking about his life when he's a kid. And
2 hours later.
to summarize this experiment, Martin Seligman did an experiment that demonstrated what he later called learned helplessness, and the experiment involved shocking dogs. Today it's considered very unethical for obvious reasons, but he did administer light shocks to dogs. How the experiment happened was the first dog was shocked, but could push a panel with its nose and turn the shocks off. The second dog was shocked, but had no control over the shocks. The shocks were yoked to the first dog's commands. The third dog was given no shocks. The next day, each dog was placed in a shuttle box where they were again given shocks. This time, each dog could easily escape the shocks by jumping over a barrier to a non-electrified portion of the shuttle box. The first dog, who could turn off the shocks, easily evaded the shocks of the shuttle box by jumping the barrier to the non-electrified side. The third dog, did the same. But the second dog, who learned he could not control the shocks the day before, just lay there in the shuttle box, receiving shocks once again. The experiment was repeated 8 times. 6 of the 8 dogs in the helpless group did not attempt to escape the shocks in the shuttle box. All of the other dogs in all 8 experiments escaped the shocks in the shuttle box within seconds. The group of dogs who were shocked at random, they learned from previous experiences that because they had no control over some situation in the past, that surely that then applies to all situations in the future. And that is the idea of learned helplessness. That's the idea, is that sometimes our lives going poorly for us is not the result of objective reality being harsh to us, but it is simply the result of our mindset. And if we changed our mindset and had a more optimistic mindset and chose to adopt an optimistic mindset, then perhaps not that there would be less of life's challenges, but our minds would be more open to those windows of opportunity. And that's why I like books and the things that the Tali Sharot is talking about, because she says in the TED Talk that she does, that I discovered her from, she says that the optimism bias, and again she says it changes objective reality, it is something like an optical illusion. Even if you know an optical illusion is just an illusion, knowing so still doesn't make the illusion go away. And in the same way, we can be conscious of the fact that an optimism bias is a cognitive illusion, as she calls it, but even so, it still makes the illusion appear. We can choose to have rose-colored glasses because life is full of ups and downs. You wouldn't want there to be nothing but positive experiences all the time, but the point is that when you're at a down, just having the mindset that that is temporary and that there's eventually going to be another up just around the corner, and just keeping that in mind.
So optimists are people who expect more kisses in their future, more strolls in the park, and that anticipation enhances their well-being. If we expect the future to be bright, stress and anxiety are reduced.
Another mindset I like to think about is that simply trying is winning. Whether we're accepted or rejected, the end result of something we wanted to do isn't as important as simply trying. Giving oneself a pat on the back for just trying. Just trying is good. Just trying is good enough sometimes. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Because the world is a random, crazy place. I'm kind of running out of stuff to say at this point. Let's see. What did I want to say about positive reinforcement?
It's good. Positive reinforcement is good.